going on, everybody? Billy Ricci here, Friar Podcast and FriarBasketball.com. And today, I'm lucky enough to be here on Providence College campus for an exclusive discussion with a man who needs no introduction. The minute you walk into Steve Napolillo's office here in Friartown, first thing you see, purpose with passion. And I know that's something that Steve's lived out for many years here at Friartown. Very excited today to talk about topics like sponsorship, name, image, and likeness, and of course our varsity athletics here at Providence College. With that, Nap, how we doing?
Billy, thanks for being here today. I always love seeing you. You and Kevin are two of the best in Friartown, and really excited. Obviously, fall sports are in full swing. Just had the season ticket holder party last night. Coming back from New York, we had Big East Media Day, AD meetings, and really excited about this year. Is while college athletics is going through a whole shift in landscape and how we're attacking this, I really think that Providence College is primed to do something special, and just keep grinding. But always, I want to thank you and Kevin. You guys do an amazing job. Love your passion. You talk about purpose with passion, Billy. Accountability, loyalty, gratitude. Just grateful to have you guys on board as Friar fans.
And we love Friartown. We love doing it. Kevin's going on over a decade, myself over 5 years, and there isn't a day that we don't get up and excited to be here at PC for all the sports, right? I know that we cover men's basketball the most, but for all varsity athletics here. But why don't we get right into it? And let's start off with the sponsors, right? We love the sponsors here. They provide their time and their treasure. But obviously things have changed, in recent years with NIL and a lot of things going on. How do sponsors now make such an impact on our varsity athletics?
Yeah, it's great. Our fans, our fan base, our alum, really my job is to educate them how this whole new landscape of revenue sharing works. And July 1 with the House settlement, you have to realize now everything that we raise, I don't care if it's sponsorships, Billy, if it's donations, if it's merchandise, is helping us to put together the best roster possible to compete for Big East and national championships. And it's as simple as that. It really is. I say, listen, we're in a professional world now. And as an athletic director, it's my job to make sure I'm doing everything I can to support our revenue share sports in that model. Our Olympic sports, I'm going to support them as well based on what we have. But I tell every sponsor, and Providence College is galvanizing everyone. Joe Calabria, who's on our board of trustees, helped us do an economic impact study. And that showed $100 million a year comes in from Providence College athletics. That's in the city, the state. So that's from restaurants, hotels, the airport. So you understand, that's a massive business that we drive.
Yeah.
We need every single company, every single restaurant who can help us so they understand every time the amp's packed. And Amica is a perfect example. You look at a Rhode Island company that stepped up, put their name on the building. They want a successful Providence College basketball program. They're all in because they say it's great for the city. It's great for the state. We want everybody to be a Amica customer. That's our whole goal in the partnership. And it's like last night at Bally's. Bally's stepped up in this new landscape. We had the season ticket holder party. Now it's twofold too, Billy. It's like people were asking me, well, I loved it on campus. Well, you have to know in this new landscape in the spring, you don't know who's going to be on your team.
Very true.
So I'm not going to have a season ticket holder party with no student athletes. Makes no sense. Come the fall, there's no parking on campus. You don't know what the weather is. You have it at an event like that, at a venue where Bally's is supporting us at an elite level. You take LIUNA, the laborers union stepped up, really did it at a high level for us. They had the golf tournament, generates incredible money. There's so many different avenues. There's so many different sponsors. If it's Bay Coast Bank, Santander, Dunkin' Donuts, the list. I don't want to leave anyone out. But like this past Monday, Finneco, the Finnegan family, We went to Coventry High School with Coach English and the 3 players. That was part of the whole NIL sponsorship that they really wanted to impact in the community. There's cool things that we're able to do now with it. But I want to educate and really have the conversation, because as much as I talk about it, as much as people want to win, but there's a significant expense in winning.
Absolutely.
And as you know, you're a fan, you look at it, these rosters, if you're not willing to invest to get great players, I'm not saying you have to spend the most, but if you're not spending at an elite level, it's going to be a challenge to try to win the Big East.
I loved the Laborers ad last year with Corey where he had on all the gear, by the way. That was a classic one. And you can just see downtown on a game day, right? The restaurants, the bars, everywhere around. I was doing some work with 110 Grill last year. I mean, just incredible stuff on a game day. Providence there's potentially no better basketball atmosphere in the country than right here on a game day.
And I don't take for granted, Bill, we were there the days where season ticket holders were down below 3,000. We're at 10,500. Every game, it's hard to get tickets. So for me, is like we're going out after every restaurant, hotel, add $1 to a drink that goes to the revenue share. Add a tax to the hotel rooms during games when they're doing, because they're going to reap the benefits as well when that place is jamming like it is.
Absolutely.
We don't want to see that go back. So as a leader in AD, my whole mindset is, how do I make sure we're working every partner out there to be part of this? Because to me, it's a win-win for all parties. When this thing's rolling, I want to win a Big East championship. Just think about the people, how many people actually will enjoy the fruits of that. And never mind, it's something we all want. I dream of a national championship. I want to, I think about every grandfather, every person who graduated from here, every young boy and girl with their Friar gear on. It'll create memories of a lifetime. And Villanova's done it twice in the last 10 years. So it's possible, I always say, but we have to be willing to support it and make sure we're using every resource that at the end of the year I can say, hey, we gave it everything we could.
I mean, I think we've been talking for 3 minutes, and I think I could go out there and score a few buckets myself, but we'll leave that for the professionals.
Billy, I'm not giving you any revenue share money, so I'll give you an interview whenever you want it, but no revenue share, my man.
You can ask Jamal Gomes about my basketball career at Hendricken, but let's talk about NIL and how those funds make it to the school, right? Obviously, there's a new process in place this year of those who want to support Friartown can do so with the school directly. Do you mind giving some insight to the fans, to the donors, to the supporters, how they can get involved?
Yeah, first off, I want to thank our Friar Family Collective. 4 years ago when I took this job, Mike Ferranti and I went to breakfast, and, he helped build a great collective. The Friar Family Collective's done a phenomenal job. Brian Catanella, great, loves Providence College, passionate, and really helped us through those days. Last year, it wasn't from investing. We caught some bad breaks. That's, the no excuses, that's on us, because you really have to have roster management and make sure you're investing the money in the right players. But when you look at the house settlement July 1, Billy, now you can donate directly to the college, get the tax deduction, and we have revenue sharing in men's and women's basketball, men's ice hockey, and men's and women's cross country. Ray Tracy is one of the greatest coaches in the country and of all time.
Absolutely.
I'm going to support him as long as he's here. I hope he coaches another 10 years so I can retire with him. And he's won 2 national championships. So, and it's not where you can't support any other art programs, but directly from the college, the revenue share accounts, you can donate through there. All the other programs, we still have the collective. You can go right through the Open Doors app to give directly to those programs. So it's been a win-win, because the amount of money we're raising for those programs and revenue share, being able to give people a tax deduction is very important.
Absolutely. And I know you've been with PC in plenty of roles through the years. Now, as athletic director, with this new model of being paid directly and working with, again, the donors and the supporters directly, how does that change your role as athletic director?
Well, I mean, I've been active in it since day one. I think in my role as AD at Providence, for us to be successful, I can't stand on the sidelines. I have to be in there and be aggressive and working with all my teammates. And we have great teammates here, from Kevin Connolly, the ticket office, the people who work internally. There's so many people working to do it. It's this. I'm great. You can't do anything without having all parties aligned. I think for us, it's like, even when you have the conversation, Billy, about do you want a general manager, we're looking at that landscape. I want to make sure that as the landscape evolves, we get the right person. Working with Coach Kim, working with Coach Lehman, working with Coach Bath, Coach Tracy. Right now, we have the people we feel very confident, myself included, as we're negotiating contracts. Kevin Kerbeck's done a great job alongside me. But the landscape will shift, where you need to make sure you're competing with all the other schools who are hiring at this level.
Absolutely.
And we're going to monitor that. I tell everybody, but I'm also not going to make a significant investment when we're not sure it's the right investment. So I tell all Friar fans out there is be confident. We're looking at it every day. We know the market is adapting, changing, and when we make the choice, it's going to be to make sure it's right for Providence College.
Let's talk about the Olympic sports specifically, right? I think in the NIL era, we see football and basketball highlighted a lot for big contracts and big numbers that are thrown out to different players and athletes. We just saw there's a couple really good runners out on the track there. We might want to recruit them. This one kid was going around really fast, but in terms of Olympic sports, what does that look like from an NIL perspective and an overall school perspective outside of some of those big, those basketball and football?
Well, it's interesting. You got to remember, right? So you look across the landscape at all schools. The way the House settlement came, you can spend up to $20.5 million directly from the school.
Okay.
So think about if you're at a football school, though, they have the stress. So how much do they have to spend on football alone? Then you get basketball, women's basketball, and if they pick, right now the Olympic sports, as I said, we have the Open Doors app, the way they've always done it. I think a lot of schools are working in that landscape and my goal as AD, and this is farthest card on the board, is obviously we want to compete at a high level in our Olympic sports, which we have, but you also have to realize in this revenue share world, there's only so much money in the pie.
Right.
And that's the reality of it, is like, I'd love to give money to the Soccers. I'd love to be able to do it. But, having basketball, hockey, it's really hard. The stress to be able to support these programs is incredible. But as we discussed, you have the opportunity. If you're a lacrosse parent, supporter, alumni, you can go in and support any lacrosse player you want through the Open Doors app. And there's something to be said. One of my greatest things I take pride in as AD is bringing back men's and women's golf. Obviously men's golf was cut in the late 90s. We never had a women's golf team. And doing that over the last few years, Kevin Connolly and Jill LaPointe helped me greatly getting that up from the foundation, from nothing to actual program. Has been and that's a non-scholarship sport, Billy. To be able to see the amount of kids who want to come to Providence College, play Division I golf, how much they love it. Our coaches, Lou Parenti and Doug Smith are doing a phenomenal job. We've had incredible support from parents, donors. We just built 2 beautiful simulators down in Peterson.
I saw them.
Incredible. So there is something to say. The joy of the Olympic sports is that, American collegiate sports was built on that foundation. Yeah. I'm worried where that's going to go, but while I'm in the seat, I'm going to do everything I can to support them at the highest level, knowing that they might not get paid because as I said, the basketballs and hockeys, it's the pro sport model now.
Yeah, I mean, you look at an Emily Sisson, Olympian from Providence College, and the proud history of the track programs here. I think it's something that a lot of Friars have a lot of pride in.
Yeah, I mean, you look at all our programs, there's people across the board. As you walk out on I put all the the student athletes here who now are playing the pros, it's pretty impressive. You know, you look
Really
across is from the soccers to the lacrosses, obviously the basketball, the runners. It's a pretty cool thing when you walk down and see Providence College, a school of 4,200 students making an impact globally.
Absolutely. So let's talk some basketball. Obviously, people know with my podcast, we do a lot of work for the men's basketball team. When I say Providence College basketball, it just has a certain vibe to it. And there's something so inherently unique about it. Is it really that we're the main attraction downtown? Is it the history? Is it the fan base, right? There's so many different things that go into it. It's like a melting pot that makes it so special. From your seat, what do you think makes it special?
You know, it's incredible. Wherever I go, people want to talk about the basketball team. It doesn't matter if I'm in the supermarket. It doesn't matter if I'm at a restaurant with my wife. This program means so much to so many people, and it's generational.
Right.
It's been passed down, just like you and I. We grew up as my father took me to a game when I was 7 years old, and he got free tickets against Miami when Miami was in the Big East, and I just fell in love with the program. And it really is the professional team in this city, and that's why as athletic director I say that, Billy. I take such a responsibility. Like last year, I didn't sleep for 4 months because I know when the team struggle what it means to people. Obviously, people let me know, but we want to be successful, and I think you will say is Coach English, his staff, you know, this offseason we had a strategy. They went after who they needed to get, and I'm excited about this upcoming year. I think you've seen the fans are excited about it. Mm-hmm. That excitement is critical because the building's sold out again. The support's been phenomenal. It means a lot to people in this area. It truly is their heartbeat for the winter in Rhode Island in this region.
Absolutely. You see that billboard on 95, Welcome to Friar Town, hits every time.
It does. Yeah, it's my wife always says to me, it truly is amazing, the love, the passion, and what it means to so many people. You know, you got to remember, as a guy who worked at the Paw Sox for so many years, is people lived and died and loved the Paw Sox. I know I did it, but it was a different passion because you really didn't care if they won or lost.
Right.
Here, it's people want to win. So you take that as that's our responsibility to make sure we're doing everything we can to support the program at the highest level. Yeah. That's why I'm not afraid to tell people, I need your support. I need your treasure. In order for us to do this, we have to be all in. You know, this isn't Steve Knapp's sporting goods store. I'm not making, you know, it's about what's the best to help us put the best product on the floor. Now, we got to do everything on the inside to make sure it works. But I feel like we have all the pieces in place that we can do something special.
I mean, the hot dog at McCoy still tasted good whether they won or lost, but I'll tell you, a soda at the Amp, it probably just won't taste as good if we don't win.
Yeah, people want to win. There's no doubt about it. It's you know, I always tease my buddies who are big Patriots fans. 3 weeks ago, you know, they were like saying everything's, you know, now, you know, Drake May's the greatest quarterback to play.
I mean, he might be.
You know, he's been unbelievable, but it's fragile, Billy, right?
Right.
It's emotional. You know, we all get caught up in it, and you and I included. It becomes you know, it can take over how you feel for a day. And like I said, through difficult times, you learn how to be better. I have the ultimate belief in Coach English and his staff, so I'm really excited about this year.
Let's talk about the AMP. I know there's some current negotiation going on with the AMP. And without getting into specifics per se, you know, what does this next contract and negotiation mean for the program and for the fan base?
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking, first off, as, you know, grateful to all the fans. They make it one of the best venues in the country. Definitely. But we're always looking to add things to increase that atmosphere. I think we're working on something that'll be coming out hopefully for the URI game that really, for the pregame, timeouts, halftime, really makes the AMP a different vibe. I'm really excited about that. we continue to work with our partners, and I had a huge meeting down there with Dan McConney and Larry Lepore. This is a partnership. As I said before, just like the restaurants, the hotels, we do well, they do well.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at this as a partnership, but we need their support in this revenue share model, and they're open. That's what we're talking about in these negotiations. So I'm grateful to them and looking forward to it. And we continue, they've made a tremendous investments. If you look over the last 3 to 5 years of what they're doing, but we can continue to do it. As we were talking about, over the next 3 to 5 years, we need a new video board to stay up with the Joneses. They put in a ton of new seats to make, you look at that telescopic seating, really changed the way the end zones looked. The Champions Club room is new. How do we make the venue from a concession standpoint better every year? So those are constant conversations, Billy, and banging out every game gives us an opportunity where we can do unique stuff together.
Absolutely. No, I mean, the vibe on game day in general, I've seen you on game days, right? I see you coming across, you either have your staple navy or black jacket on, shaking hands and saying hi to everybody. What gets you up for game day each time? Because you've been doing this a long time, right? I think some people can kind of lose that excitement and that passion to be there, but you have it every single game.
No, it's funny is as people always ask me, and earlier in my career, my previous going for interviews at different colleges for AD jobs and stuff, my passion is there's nothing you can even put into words the night before a game where you're going to have 13,000 people just going nuts, and it's the vibe, the energy, we're competitive people is that's what really gets me going is when I see, like I said, anywhere young kids wearing the Friar logo, the shirts, it gets me juiced. I love it. I always give them that. There's nothing more as an athletic director I can say is, just the last few weekends, even though the results weren't there, having Michigan come in at Schneider Arena, just gets you juiced up. You're ready for game night. So I think that, for me, is really why I love the job. I love the passion. The student athletes, we had our career night the other night. Mark and Yvette Bosclair, Mark Mandel, Yvette Bosclair have supported this over the last 10 years, and it was an awesome night. Jill Shaw, and it was an opportunity for our kids to meet 50 professionals from all over, alum who have been successful in their careers. And, we can't forget we're in it trying to teach these young men and women to be the best they can be and then get them on their journey to their next careers. But game day is special.
Yeah. I want to shout out to DJ Finesse and Flanny. I've gotten to know them over the past couple of years. They're awesome on game day. There's so many people that make, game day is amazing as it is. But let's talk about the NCAA tournament, right? There's a lot of talk about expansion, right? That gets brought up every single year. What's your opinion on the potential of expanding something that's been so great for so long?
Yeah, I guess, after 2 years ago when we got left out and, we were the first team with 6 quad 1 wins, I'm always, some years I'm like, it's great. Some years I'm like, if you're one of those teams that are right on the bubble, but there's always going to be bubble teams, right? No matter where they expand it.
Yep.
I think, listening to the coaches at Big East Media Day the other day say it really well is, if you're giving more opportunity to teams that really impact the student athletes, the universities, the colleges, I'm all for it, especially in this era where it's, you're investing such a significant amount into rosters. And I think it's important that, it's not a mess. They're talking about 8 teams, Billy.
Right.
So I think that would be a fair amount to do it. So, and we all love March Madness. For me, is the more games you get to watch, I think it's the one time a year, no matter who's playing, I'll watch the game. So it's I think it gives the fans something they love as well.
And with the Power Five specifically, right? Do you think the NCAA is looking to expand the tournament so there are Power Five representatives that don't leave the NCAA? I mean, there's some change going on with different off-season tournaments and thoughts of playing in different leagues. What do you think about the Power Five and the future of the NCAA?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really big, we could talk for a long time there. I think there's a lot of, is what I alluded to at the beginning, the landscape is continually changing. You need to adapt, and, people always ask me, you think this is sustainable? Very, very difficult to say in the current model. What I always tell people, my job is to try to work with all my teammates that we're aggressive and successful in the landscape that we're given. I don't create the rules. I just have to make sure that we're doing everything to support our coaches and programs so they can compete. Sure. When you look at the landscape of college athletics, when you say it's a big question, because I can't tell you is 12 months from now what will be the landscape compared to now. I think that there's a lot of legal challenges going on. You have the SCORE Act right now, but in a government shutdown, they're not worrying about college athletics. So there's a lot of things going on. I do think that the American collegiate system, there's nothing like it in the world. And we have to understand that if we blow it up, you're going to ruin something that's really special. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think a lot of decisions that were made, people who were making, if it was at the Supreme Court, if it was in Congress, got very focused in on the whole was lost while you're looking at just football and basketball, the whole system. You talk to schools that they were feeder system for a lot of Olympic programs, Billy. What happens with that? You're talking to great programs that these kids would play in the Olympics. You got to be careful for that. So there's a lot of things, Billy, that are in conversation, and I'm interested, even as an athletic director. I'm in a lot of meetings, and sometimes you're like, wow, where's this headed? So I have to decouple and say, okay, leading a department of over 200 people, 415 student athletes, working with Father Sicard, the cabinet, the board of trustees, how does Providence College make sure today we're doing everything we can to be successful, while also trying to put a sustainable financial model long term, which is very difficult right now.
Yep. I mean, you always say to me every time we talk, and, I'm in the practice facility, I'm like, nah, years back I couldn't have even dreamed of this, but your quote is always, you've never arrived, right? You have to keep reinventing, you have to keep being proactive, and you have to keep being creative about what the future could look like.
Well, you once you think you arrive, you're done. You're going to fail. So I think, like what you say is, you're talking about game day atmosphere. You're talking about facilities. You have to be saying, what do we need to get better at every day? What do we need? Because I got to get better at a lot of things as an athletic director. I challenge my team. Celebrate the successes. Make sure everybody knows that when you do something great, don't just take it for granted. Celebrate that. But also then say, like, the season ticket holder party last night, what can we do better? The lines were long for food. We need more food. Even, granular things, you look at that. When I talk to my programs, what do we need? If it's in the innovation lab, what's the new technology that will really help the kids? Nutrition, strength and conditioning, wellness, mental health, giving our coaching staffs what they need. Can we get everything? No. But, as AD is one of the things I don't mind going to ask anybody to say, hey, if you give us this donation, we'll be able to do that. Because, Billy, if I would have told you 7 years ago we'd have one of the best practice facilities in the country, people say Providence can't do it. You can do it.
You can do it. This is a fun one. Believe it or not, Friartown, I may not be the most famous Billy within the athletics core of what we do. That's probably Billy Donovan. And he recently was in the Hall of Fame induction. I saw that you were there. That must have been really cool. And just seeing Frank Carpano, right, who literally had just started doing NBC 10 when Billy Donovan was playing. And Billy Donovan was like, whoa, like this is a crazy moment, right? What was it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, I fell in love with Providence College because of Billy Donovan. You think about that Final Four run. It's pretty cool to be able to develop a relationship with somebody you kind of idolized when you were a young kid, and coming to Providence College because you fell in love with that team, fell in love with Billy the Kid back in '87, and like I said, even at my press conference, he was the first call I got from anyone congratulating me. I got the AD job. Now, to be able to retire his jersey. That was an awesome weekend at the AMP. And then
Right.
to get the highest honor. Now, he went in as a coach,
Mhm.
but being a player at Providence College was, be part of his whole story. He's great, he always says, because what he learned at Providence College, playing for Coach Patino. And I took my son to the Friday night event at Mohegan Sun just to spend time with Billy and get to do that, and then to go to Springfield the next night and be with his family and his close friends is pretty surreal, and I'm just happy for him. What an honor! How cool for a Providence College grad to join the other, Friars in the Hall of Fame. You go downstairs in the library hallway, you go down there, you got Lenny Wilkins, John Thompson, Doris Burke, Billy Donovan. It's pretty impressive.
It certainly is, and I think
Obviously Dave Gavitt.
Right.
I want to thank the legendary Dave Gavitt. You can't forget what he did. So there's so many great names.
Yeah. Even when you walk in your office, you see the list of athletic directors on the wall, like Dave Gavitt, like Lou Lamoriello, like Bob, like the Friars that held that position for all those years before them. I think it's really great to see, the homage to all those who paved the way, whether it be players or coaches, athletic directors. In terms of your staff, right, I've gotten to know a lot of them through the years, obviously being around. I've got to know Kevin really well, Jill, Jen, Eric Burchell. I actually went to PC around the same time that Eric did, right? What is something you tell them every day, right? This is we've talked about this offline plenty of times. Working in sports is a grind. It is a grinded out culture. What do you tell them to keep them motivated?
Anything's possible. First of all, you need great people around you to do anything. That's why I can't thank them enough. As you said, you got to challenge them to continue to look at ways, what can we do better? What I always say in my staff meetings is, it's, first of all, the word I use, accountability. You control your attitude, you control your energy, how we do things. This landscape in college athletics is challenging. People have been working here a while, and now they see, you're paying student athletes at an elite level. Mm-hmm. How do you adapt in that? And I need everybody to have purpose, know what our purpose is, and continue to challenge us to help us strive for excellence. And it's hard. It's they will tell you, as I was saying to you, is like, my wife is away with my daughter in Disney World. I took her to the airport this morning at 4:00. Mm-hmm. But we were in New York 2 days for meetings, Monday and Tuesday. Mm-hmm. Last night we had the season ticket holder party, so I won't see them for 7 days. It's a challenge. We take it. I'm not looking for sympathy, but what you said is, you tell your teammates they're sacrificing in order to make you better, but it's our goal to make sure we stay positive, have energy. The student athletes and coaches feed off us. Mm-hmm. So we all have to be aligned, and to challenge me, how can I be better to be a leader, to make sure we're doing the best for Providence College?
Well, I could say from my seat that seeing the evolution of what PC has become, from the facilities to to the gear, right? You see the gear all around campus that kids are wearing that was not here when I was here 10 years ago.
There's never enough gear, Billy. Just so everyone knows, in Friartown, I would have a new store every day popping up as AD. That's my goal. Is you can never have enough gear. I love when I see the fans wearing Friar gear. And we've made strides, but we continue to have to get a lot better. And we're challenging all our providers, from Nike to our the collective to the school. We have some big ideas that we're working on as we move forward. But that's something I'll continue in my position to keep striving to improve.
To round it out, I think the goal of this conversation today is of course to talk about, we now have the ability and the power to kind of control some of the rosters and the wins and losses because of our passion and our support for the school and for the varsity athletics here. To somebody who's thinking about giving to the school and to the programs, what is something that you'd like to say to them?
Thank you. And we need you. It's like, I get into some conversations where people say, oh, all you care about is money, or you're always asking. And I say, listen, I want to be able to support our program so that you can be proud. Everybody wants a winner. It doesn't matter if you give $1 million or $100, and everything adds up. So I tell people, if you love this, invest in what you can. Everybody has a different threshold of what they can give, but everything adds up. So for me, it's more about getting the masses to support this, because at a school like Providence College, the power of people, the power of the numbers that you can give is truly remarkable. And Billy, is like you would say, if people would have thought 3 years ago we would be able to do what we're doing now, no way. Don't ever feel. I look at it as like, I'm not looking at, no, I'm looking at, right, how we find we're going to do this. And, I'm going to keep pushing the envelope as hard as possible. But people are the ones who make it possible. All those donors out there, Billy, who helped us raise over $12.5 million last year, cash. That doesn't even count revenue sharing this year. That's a whole nother bucket. We're doing it here. We're going to keep trying to find new people who want to be part of it. And it's on us to make sure that we win and make them proud in the sports that we're really investing in. Because like I said, there is a different, Billy. It's like the sports that don't have scholarships, that we're not able to fund at the elite level. I want those kids to come here and have an incredible time, knowing that, they don't have maybe the resources that the other programs have. Yeah. But in the ones that we're going all in, we want to put out a product that everyone's going to be proud of.
It's purpose with passion.
I love it.
Well, this is a great conversation today, Nap. I always appreciate all the hard work you've put in through all the years. Your staff, they've been incredible to me and Kevin through the years as well. And whether you're here in Rhode Island or anywhere in the world, you get to go Friars, you feel it, and it's genuine. So,
well, I want to thank you and Kevin again. You guys do a great job. With this year coming up, we have to prove what on the court, on the ice, of what we want to do. And most of all, thank you to everybody out there who's supporting this, because without you, we can't do it. And everyone who's part of this Friar family says thank you. We're grateful.